G'day there guys, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another r/Idontworkherelady story. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good stories. Posted by user Bailey the Nerd, titled, I'm 600 miles from that store, sir. This is an old tale I have from when I was working tech support for a company that owns a lot of large grocery store chains across the US. I only recently realized it technically counts as an Idontworkherelady. Now to be clear, I was internal tech support for this company. The only calls I should be getting are from people that work for the company and all the chains it owns, mind you, to fix their computers. Me is me, confused man is CM. Ring ring, hello. Hiya, company name desktop support. This is Bailey the Nerd, can I get your employee ID? He's already angry and he says, where are the diabetic brownies? I'm sorry, the what? I'm at store location and nobody here knows where the hell the diabetic brownies are. I wasn't aware brownies could be diabetic, but I'm sorry, sir, there must have been some mix-up. I'm tech support for company. Somebody must have given you the wrong number. No, I am not getting any more runaround. Where are the diabetic brownies? Sir, I'm in a call center 600 miles from your store's location. I don't have a layout of the store in front of me, and I don't work for smaller grocery store chain. I work for parent company. I can help you if you have a computer that needs fixing. Brownies! Okay, well, let me try to help. What's the store's address and who gave you this phone number? The goddamn pharmacist. Okay, please be patient. I'm gonna put you on hold for like 2 minutes. I put him on hold and call customer service for the store he's at, explain the situation, and tell them to look for an angry old man who just walked away from the pharmacist. I get him off hold and I say, alright sir, I called customer service. Someone at your store is going to come find you and show you the, diabetic brownies. Thank you. Click. I then proceeded to call the pharmacy and chew out the pharmacist for giving out an internal number to some confused customer. Never found out if he got his brownies. Also, who the hell is stupid enough to give out an internal number for a local company issue? So I worked for big company doing tech support for it, and all of its child companies. So it's not weird that the store had my number. It's weird as hell that they gave out my number to a customer. It's even more weird that the customer was able to make it through about 4 prompts that all make it very clear that he was calling parent company and that it was a line only for tech support. Perhaps he was just really determined, angry, and just really wanted his diabetic brownies. Or he was just dumb. Posted by user Sulia, titled, Hello, security. So I just got the following phone call. Hello? Hello, security? This is the manager for Burger King number 4X on 4X Street, and we just noticed there's a guy in the bathroom, and he's apparently been in there since 11 AM this morning. Can you send someone to help us out with this? He refuses to leave. Please send someone right away. Hey, you have the wrong number here, buddy. Well, we need help here. Can you send someone? Dude, you have the wrong number. I don't work for security. It sounds like you may have an emergency. So, might want to call 911, or call the right number for your security? The guy mumbles something incoherent, and I hung up at this point. Thankfully, he didn't call me again. Weird, and I hope that guy is okay. Wow, what? Sounds like the dude called you was panicking pretty bad. Yeah, he was, which is why I was pretty forceful with my tone with him after he didn't listen the first time. How long has the guy stayed in the bathroom? I'm concerned. I'm concerned too. The guy called at 10:52 PM Pacific time, so he was in there almost 12 hours. Crap, that's when you call 911. Posted by user Kelpie Kayleys, titled, Karen mistook me as an idiot. Okay, so in this story, I'll give you some background. I'm 18, my brother-in-law is the owner of the hotel in this story. There is a restaurant in the hotel too. This hotel is located in Kerala, India, and this was tourist season, so the place was full of tourists, including Americans. Love you guys. Characters are Karen, brother-in-law, general manager, me, and the waiter who I know well. My brother-in-law, grandmother, and I were having breakfast in the restaurant. Sitting next to us is Karen. Tanned, a tourist, and also not a resident of the hotel, obviously only there for a meal. My brother-in-law gets up from the table to do a few things outside the hotel, but would be back in a half hour. Grandmother joins him. This means that I'm the next person of authority in the hotel. As waiter hands Karen the check, she takes one look at it, and this is how it went. She says, "I know the owner. He said that the food is free for me." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we would require some confirmation from him to get you even a discount." "I told you, I know the owner." "How, ma'am? Are you his friend or relative?" "I'm his cousin." Now, I obviously had to step in as she wasn't. We had no Americans in his side of the family, even half Americans, so I'm now sure she was lying. And I say, "I'm sorry, is there a problem here, waiter's name?" "Ma'am, she's claiming she knows the owner here." "Why is a teenager actually even talking to me? Do you work here?" "I demand to see the general manager." "Well, I do work here, but as..." I stop myself because I want to see how this plays out. "I'm sorry, ma'am, the general manager has stepped outside for some time. While I'm calling the owner, you're going to be fired." She's now shouting a bit. My brother-in-law's phone is still on the table, and so I keep an eye on it to see if it was ringing. She's now speaking into the phone, pretending to speak to a person. She turns off the phone, turns to us and says to W and me, "You're fired, and you too," pointing to me. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to pay and leave, or I'll call the cops." "How dare you? Who the hell do you think you are?" "Look, I'm the owner's sister-in-law." "What?" "Pay the bill and leave." She still refused and yelled racial slurs at me and called me a liar. Got the hotel security to kick her out and get the money out of her. Turns out she pulled this at other hotels and restaurants too. Edit. Somebody asked what kind of food we have at the buffet. We have every type of breakfast ever. Continental, pancakes, waffles, hash browns, etc. and Indian food. Shrimp gumbo, shrimp on a stick, shrimp sauté. That's about it. That's all you can do with shrimp. Posted by user, I know this name is taken. Titled, "Do you know the Muffin Man?" I grew up a military brat, and we did all our shopping at the commissary on base. I knew it like the back of my hand. Sometimes they would change things to make it seem fancier than it was. This time they had hidden the bakery behind the bread shelves to make it like a secret bakery garden. I was getting groceries for my family, and I guess I looked like I knew what I was doing, because I had heard a very frustrated voice say, "Do you even have muffins in this store?" I turned around and saw this elderly gentleman with a very grumpy look on his face. I said, "I'm sorry?" He answered, "Muffins! I've been looking everywhere, and you don't have any." I smiled because he sounded cute grumbling about muffins, and said, "Oh, I actually don't work here, but I do know where the bakery is. Do you see that wall of bread?" And I pointed to the end of the aisle. "If you go all the way to the left of it, there's an opening, and the bakery is right back there." As I was talking, the old man's face morphed from confused, embarrassed, confused again, and finally lit up as he said, "All right, good deal. You should get a job here." And he marched off to probably give a poor baker or worker a piece of his mind, but it made my day to see him so happy. Posted by user B-Dog the Man, titled, "Lady yells at me for no reason, then gets banned from the store instead." Backstory. I'm 14 and I live with my mum and brother. My favorite color is blue, and I happen to be in Walmart. I'm 5'7" and I have a slightly deep voice, and some facial hair. Meet the cast. Rude lady, rude man, nice employee, yours truly, my mother, nice customer, and manager. Story. I was in Walmart 2 months ago, before this pandemic, with my mama. We're getting normal household things. My mum asked if I could go and get our milk, and I said yes. The thing I was wearing happened to be similar to Walmart's work outfit. While I was getting the milk, the rude lady came up to me. She looked maybe around 70 years old, and she says, "Where's the yogurt?" I turn around. "Huh? Where's the yogurt?" "Sorry, I don't work here." I didn't know where the yogurt was, and I was in a rush. "What? Yes, you do. You're dressed in the attire." "I'm sorry, ma'am. I honestly don't work here. I'm only 14 and this place only hires staff older than 16, I believe." And in comes her husband. "What's going on, honey?" This employee, points to me, won't get me the yogurt. Sir, please help us the yogurt. I don't work here. Oh my god, I don't care if you're on a break, just get the goddamn yogurt. An actual employee walks by and says, what's going on here? This rude employee of yours won't help us find the yogurt. Ma'am, he doesn't work here. Yes, he does. He's wearing your attire. Sir, he honestly does not work here. Give me your manager. So the manager comes over. What seems to be the issue? I asked this employee to point me to the yogurt, and he said I can kiss his ass. I want him fired. I'm thinking to myself, did this lady just say what I think she said? Ma'am, he doesn't work here? Yes, he does. He's wearing the outfit. Sir, looks at me. How old are you? 14. He's just trying to go away from his duties. And then my mother comes over. What's going on here? This lady thinks your 14-year-old son works here. The lady's face goes pale. Well, she even said that I swore at her. I didn't. My mum got mad and yelled at her. In the end, she got banned from harassing another customer, and we got a huge discount. Thanks for reading. Is it me, or does the end not make sense? Why is he getting a huge discount? What is he getting the discount for? He was just hanging out. What's going on? Posted by user KevinVL123, titled, Karen Got What She Had Coming. Today I got a message from an old IT consultancy colleague of mine, who runs his own small consultancy firm now. He was looking for someone who can hold his own, winky face, for one of his clients, in which reminded me of this story. Background. About 10 years ago, freshly out of college, I started working for an IT consultancy firm. The first assignment I got was at a huge international company, which site in my country had about 100 people working for them. Half of them were consultants from my employer, the other half were internal employees. I joined a small development team, also had consultants and half internals. On site, there was a service manager from my employer, who oversaw all consultants when it came to evaluations, bonuses, news from our employer, etc. The consultants reported to a manager from the company for work-related stuff, but to the service manager from our employer for HR-related stuff. This story takes place in the beginning of January, and I just transitioned from consultant to internal employee after working with a client for a year and a half. Characters are me, Ross the big boss, who's the manager from the company/client. Karen is the service manager, conveniently named Karen. Greg is the good guy Greg. My colleague, the one who messaged me today. Story. I was on a conference call with Ross, Greg, and some people from a different site. Me, Ross, and Greg were all sitting in a different location in the building. It was one of those meetings where you listen for an hour and only speak to say bye at the end. I had my noise-cancelling headphones with microphone on, which had the company's logo on it. Ross gave it to me when I signed the contract with the company, as it was a leftover from the Christmas presents they all got. Suddenly, Karen yanks the headphones off my head and starts yelling, "Answer me instead of listening to music, you fudging weasel!" I just sat there with my mouth open in shock, as I hadn't seen or heard her approaching me. And who the hell did you steal these headphones from? They are for internals only. But, they're mine. Due to the initial shock, I couldn't find the words to explain I got transitioned to internal when she was on her month-long holiday in December, and clearly she didn't get the memo. Stop lying to me, turd. Consider your ass fired. Me, finding my composure back, says, "You can't fire me. I don't work for you. And even if I did, you have no right to talk to me like that." At this point, my phone beeped. I glanced at my screen, and I saw a message from Greg. "You are not on mute. Ross and me can hear the whole thing. You are a lying sack of crap, and stop looking at your phone when I'm talking to you. I don't work for you anymore, and if you keep talking to me like that, I will call security to have you removed." "Who the frick do you think?" She was interrupted by her own phone ringing, which apparently was a call from Ross. She answers her phone with all the fake jolliness she could muster after her tirade against me. But after that, all I heard her say was, "Oh, no sir," and "Yes sir." Maybe I have to note that Ross, my manager, was the most senior manager on our site, and therefore also the country manager, who signed the contract with my old employer, for which Karen worked. This was the only time in my life I saw someone aged 20 years in a mere 15 seconds. Her face shifted from the red to white, as if someone flipped a light switch. She hung up and left without saying another word to me. Later, I found out people had complained about her behavior before, but now she was caught red-handed, and my manager made sure her services were not needed anymore. She also got fired from my old employer, as the company was the biggest contract and they couldn't afford to lose it due to Karen's actions. In some way, I have to thank her though, as I haven't had any problems with shutting down someone who was being abusive since that event. Edit, I also posted this on r/Idontworkherelady, as it fits both subreddits, and it was pointed out that the initials for the people can be a bit confusing, so I changed them to fake names. Good riddance. To think if she had kept her cool and had actually listened, and maybe paid a bit of attention, she would still have a fudging job. Apparently, she's been a clueless idiot before though. That's what she gets. She was risking a lawsuit to the company just pulling off your headphones. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Assault in a workplace doesn't look good on a resume, doesn't it? Even if you were still her employee, she had no right to speak to someone like that. Glad she was caught and fired. The thing is, I was never really her employee to begin with. She was just there to manage the contract with the client like a sort of HR representative. Technically, she could not even fire me if I still did work for the consultancy firm, but she did have some leverage with the ones that could. Posted by user Mandel Brought It, titled, "Get out of my car." Hi, this might be the wrong place to post this, but I don't know where else this would fit. If you have any suggestions, I would like to know. This is more of a I don't live here, more than I don't work here, but there's still some work-related things. Sorry for formatting, I'm on mobile and English is not my first language. So this is the story. I'm a sound engineer by trade, usually recording bands in studios or working live shows. So last Saturday, I was going to record a band in a studio in the neighbouring city, about an hour away. So I collect some microphones from home and be on my way. To set the scene, there are two buildings that are important for the story. One building is a residential building, and one a place where certain companies work, in which the studio lies. The residential building has an open parking lot where you pay hourly. This is a perfect space for me to park because of proximity. So when I park and go to get my parking ticket, I hear some woman shouting from across the parking lot, through the music in my headphones. I figure she might need help with something, so I walk over and try to figure out what the problem was. This lady was about 50 or 60 years old, but it became very clear very fast that she did neither speak English or Swedish, but instead a foreign language I did not understand. In her gestures, I can interpret that she wanted to get into the residential building, which I did not have a key to. I tried to gesture this, but the message apparently didn't come through. So she saw my car key I held in my hand, she pointed to that, and gestured for me to open. I gestured that this key is my car key, and not the key she needs. But instead, she reaches for the key in my hand, but I quickly pull my hand away, and now decide to walk off and get my parking ticket. I put my earphones on and got my ticket. I then proceeded to put my ticket in my car, and then walked from the driver's side to the passenger's side, where had my mics. I then hear my driver's side door fly open, and the woman sets herself on my driver's seat. I get so stunned, I just yell out, "What are you doing? Get out of my car!" in various forms. She keeps rambling on in her native tongue, so I take my stuff and put myself in front of her and try to gesture for her to move the hell out of my car. Since she never decided to move, I called the cops, and a few minutes later they arrived, and managed to get her to move from my car. Once she was out, I don't know what happened. I moved down to the studio and was just dumbfounded about what happened. Edit, to clarify why I called the cops and didn't pull her out myself, I'm a little larger than the average person, and in my country I might have gotten in trouble if I would have been too harsh. Yikers. Posted by user Cussler Fan, titled, "Threaten me because you called the wrong place? Have some jail time." I posted this as a reply to someone else's thread, so I omitted several details and a good portion of the conversation to shorten it. After several suggestions, I decided to post it here and add some more details and conversation, which has made it quite a bit longer. It happened before caller ID was standard on phone lines, and it was a lot more long-suffering back then. Otherwise, I would have just hung up when she tried calling again. Also, this was over 20 years ago, so the conversation isn't exact. My work number is a digit off the local Chuck E. Cheese's. Ours is XXYY, theirs is XYYY. We are an industrial supply company and don't even have a public entrance. We always answer, "Thank you for calling company name. How may I assist you today?" Most of the time, people understand when we tell them our number and the number they're trying to reach. Sometimes they'll double check with, "Are you sure this isn't the right number?" I did have that one idiot that knew we were lying because she was using the redial button, and that always dials the right number. She gave up after the 5th call. One time though, a lady insisted on talking to a manager. I say, "Me, thank you for put me on with your manager, now." "I am the manager. How may I help? We were just there a few minutes ago, and we were turned away because we didn't have a reservation. What are you going to do about it? I want a refund plus $50 for wasting my time." Me, realizing she's trying to reach Chuck E. Cheese, "Are you trying to—" "I'm trying," can actually hear the eyes rolling, "to get a refund, plus $50. All of you restaurant workers are idiots." "Ma'am, if you don't stop interrupting me, I can't—" "Excuse me, you do not get to tell a customer what to do." Long profanity-laced Karen rant of how rude I am and that I wouldn't be working in food service anymore. "I'm the customer, and you are trying to interrupt me? I don't think so." At this point, I hang up, only to have her call back 5 seconds later. "Thank you," screaming so loud that the speaker was crackling. "You did not just hang up on me. I'm coming down with my husband and my brother to take care of you personally. I hope your insurance is paid up." Physical threats? Game time. "No, please, I'll do whatever you want." "Give me your name now." "My name is Sol, first name Richie. Please just don't hurt me." "Oh, I won't hurt you. I can't control my husband and brother though." I'm still freight crying and I'm like, "Please no, I need this job and I can't work around kids with a black eye." "Well, you should have thought about that before disrespecting me. A black eye will be the least of your problems." "Sorry, I didn't mean to do so. Please, can we just forgive this? I can leave the refund at the counter so you don't even have to see me." "No, you made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. Maybe you'll remember this beating when you think about being disrespectful to another customer. Also, I want it in cash." Throughout this entire exchange, she never once gave me her name, so I had to ask, "Please, just let me get your name for the paperwork." "Let me? Did you seriously just try to tell me what to do? Have you learned nothing yet?" Another long rant about how people working in public businesses are worth less than something you scrape off your shoes. I will have your job for this disrespect. "Oh no, please forgive me. I meant no respect." "No, I'm not giving you my name. You'll know me when we get there, you little weasel. We'll be there in 30 minutes. Get ready to clock out and get your affairs in order." And she slams the phone down. I called the manager, first name basis because we were constantly getting calls for each other at Chuck E. Cheese, and told her to expect 3 people who will demand, and possibly get physical to talk to a Richie Sol. She laughed and said, "That's a good one, but you missed the most obvious fake name for our establishment, Charles Formaggio." "Anyway, I know who you're talking about. I'll have the cops waiting for her. Thanks." An hour later, I got a call from the manager laughing her head off because the lady was in there, yelling about wanting to talk to some Richie Sol, and screaming that some Richie Sol owes her some money. The police were there and arrested her, and the 2 men with her on outstanding warrants and illegal possessions of a firearm. TLDR, lady won't let me talk to tell her she's called the wrong number. She, her husband and brother end up getting arrested when they go to the place she intended to call, and physically threaten them, demanding to speak to a Richie Sol. Reminds me of the time when I was working for Amex when someone made death threats on a recorded line as a card member after going through the ID check. Just when I think people can't get any dumber, I become even more discouraged for our planet's future. Idiocracy was too optimistic. Alright guys, is there a man to hug and kiss here? I really need a man to hug and kiss? No? Well then, this is the end of the episode. Hope you enjoyed this one today, guys. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments. I'd love to know what you're up to. This has been Markee. Click those links on the screen because I'm going to be making some meme videos in a hot minute. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.